Welcome, everybody. It is Unstoppable Stelezzi, and I got for you another nice Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition caster game. So this time we're going to be doing 1 versus 1 supremacy between the Kaiski-Tuski Germans as well as the beefy McWhatNow Dutch. Before we get started, let's look at the map real quick and see what it's going to offer these players in terms of the environment. So this is of course Deccan. It's a map I've done for many years, so I know it quite well. The biggest parts of Deccan you'll notice are extra resource crates at the start, similar to Carolina. Another big thing you notice for Deccan specifically is the big giant plateau in the center of the map. Inside the plateau you get lots of huntable animals, you get lots of mines, trees, also some native settlements too belonging to the Indian subcontinent. And sometimes players can manage to wall it off because there are little choke points between the cliffside and the entryway into the plateau. But even if you can wall it off, getting your villagers in here to get all the nice resources is really helpful. Also, you can technically wall off a bit the sides of the plateau as well to prevent enemies from moving as much. I know on this side it's a bit harder, but certainly up here where the river is, you can always wall it pretty well. And speaking of which, you got a little river here that has 3 fords. You can cross units here, and then they can start building on these 2 trading posts on this trade route. And then on the opposite side, where the land is, and no river, there's about a trade route with 3 trading posts on it. So, you have a lot of economic opportunities on Deccan if you want to go out and explore. You don't find a lot at home, so you better get moving. And let's get moving with this match, shall we? Alright, so, Germany. We've seen a lot of Kaiski-Tuski Germany games lately, both in deathmatch as well as supremacy. He loves his mercenaries. He really loves his mercenaries. And I think for a map like Deccan, you do have a bit of flexibility of going mercenary on it because you get all the nice starting resource crates, which sets you up really well to get some of those early market technologies for the settler wagons. And you have a lot of ways of turtling a bit just so you can get enough coin to get those mercenaries down. See how the Germany's going for hunting dogs right away from a market? This is because they have a very powerful villager called the settler wagon. It has a population cost of 2. Because it has the gather rate of 2 villagers in 1. It also is a bit more expensive because of that, while at the same time having more HP and more survivability. And another thing you can do with Germany too is all their shipments age 2 and onwards gives you free hand cavalry, the Ulan. So we might see a bit of raiding here and there and lopping off some settlers as the match progresses. As for the opponent, Beefy McWhatNow, he is going with the Dutch. Now on this map, the Dutch has a pretty good advantage because the Dutch love to turtle up behind their banks. If you're Dutch on this map, I would say get as many walls as you can, make the most out of your banks, and get lots of mercenaries. See, this could be a pretty interesting matchup because we got 2 mercenary Sids up against each other. I'm wondering if we're going to see like a mercenary versus mercenary build. Let me look at the deck of this Dutch. So this Dutch does indeed have a mercenary deck. Now that's quite interesting, right? So first thing they're going to send actually is the Dutch East India Company. Banks cost less and have more hit points. Envoys can also construct banks. I don't know how useful that point is, but certainly cheaper, stronger banks is really a nice thing to have. They got all the build limit things for the bank. They got the Royal Decree, Religious Freedom, which, you can use to get 2 more banks. They got the tulip speculation. And then they get this, the Dutch States Army, which is a mercenary favoring card, which allows mercenaries to arrive, train, and move faster. But it does end up making your standard units, like your skirm, your hussar, more costly. Now another thing it does well, which you can see here, is it actually gives you Highlanders at the barracks and then you can get Royal Horsemen at the stable, which means basically this gives the Dutch a more mercenary-centric roster than before they send the card. As for Germany, let's look at their deck. They actually just got Gangsaw too to help with the population. Because as you know, with mercenaries, they have a lot of population spaces that they take up, so you're definitely going to need houses. For their deck, yeah, this is a fully fledged mercenary deck. We got the improved mercenaries, which is an upgrade card to their stats. Mercenary camps, you know, this is really a good mercenary card for Germany because it gives them access to all the Germanic mercenaries in the game, as well as allows them to technically have more than one tavern operating at the same time. Also, mercenary loyalty, which makes the mercenary shipments here, like this one, actually cheaper. Yep. Also, I like the usage of Ironmonger and Silversmith, which will make mining a lot quicker. So yeah, I'm curious how they're going to handle this mercenary deck here. Same thing with the Dutch, because it does seem like they're going both in the same direction. Yep, Core Master too, by the way. Yeah, certainly a good option for really anyone who's aging up to age 2 if they have the Core Master available, which gives you 400 wood. Take it. It's really, really helpful to you. Now, this is going to be a fun thing too. We're going to see both players competing for the trade routes. So, Tushki got the leftmost and the rightmost trading post, whereas the Dutch got the one right dab in the middle. So we're going to see if these trading posts change hands a lot. And I feel like whoever can hold on to the most trading posts is going to have a pretty easy time here. Because one thing you also need for a mercenary deck is lots of shipments. Because obviously the mercenary shipments are basically cards from the home city. So they do cost one shipment to access. Yep. And what's Dutch doing? So Dutch is now going for their 700 wood. Is that the 700 wood? Is that the 600? So they've already reached their 700 wood. Now they're going for the 600 wood, which is going to probably give them plenty of wood to get the rest of the banks out. And then from there they can send the 700 food, which is the other cost that banks have. As you see here, luckily they're a bit cheaper because of that Dutch East India Company card that was sent at the start. Also, we see a church going up. This is going to be needed for religious freedom. Yep, religious freedom. One of the technologies lets you gain 2 more banks to your build limit at the cost of making your units a bit slower. But honestly, 2 banks over slower units, most of the time the 2 banks is going to win out in value, honestly. And this is a nice little perk, because the envoy can build the banks with that card. Basically, the villagers can keep doing their work and bringing in resources, while the envoy, who otherwise wouldn't be doing much besides running around the map, can actually sit there and build the banks for him. Pretty useful side bonus. It looks like this Germany is certainly ready to go to the Fortress Age now and start getting those mercenaries going. Whereas the Dutch are playing a bit more greedy. You know, they want to get up, I think, all those banks before they age up, honestly. And you know what? If they can do it in enough time, I think Dutch end up winning out. You know, Germany's more for variety of mercenaries as well as statistical quality of mercenaries. Whereas the Dutch, you know, they're more for numbers. Their Dutch are great at massing up mercenaries. Germany's good for beefing them up and giving you a variety of them through the mercenary camps. Yeah, but actually, let me think to that again. You know, Dutch actually do get access to a couple of extra mercenary options, right? They get the Word Elders, which unfortunately they don't have here. It would have granted them access to Swiss pikemen in the tavern and the barracks. Also, of course, you got the mercenary contractor. Are they going for that? No, they're not. They're going for the exiled prince, probably to catch up here. But if you had some time on your hands, you can get the mercenary contractor for Dutch, which gives you access to little bombards and the... I'm trying to think, does it give you access to little bombards? I think it gives you Almedi and Fusiliers, which are really strong mercenaries. Yeah. Yep, definitely. And what else we got here? So Germany is now up to the Fortress Age. They got their tavern working. So what is going to be their first step? Because it does look like Germany has gone most of the trading posts on both sides of the map. You know, they got this one over here closest to red, so this one's going to be a shoo-in, I think, and they're going to have like 4 of them. That's pretty serious, you know. You got 4 trading posts on the map. You get an amalgamation right now. You're going to have plenty of coin and shipments to go around to get these out. These Black Riders, these Jaegers. And then in Industrial Age, then you could start spamming this Holy Roman Army constantly. They're going to go for the coin. The 1k coin, yeah. See, what I think Tushki might do is, if he's not facing a lot of pressure, he might just go for that Industrial Age, so he can start sending out the Holy Roman Army instead. Right, but he's not going to go defenseless, though. He is going to get some of the Marathon Thuggies. These are basically the same thing as Renegados. So they are actually... he's going to switch it out for Irish Brigadiers instead. Interesting. So the advantage of the... he's not going to... Make up your mind, man. We just saw 3 mercenaries being queued up here and cancelled. Oh, Giant Grenadiers. Now, these are a really good unit. These things are basically musketeers at the base level, but their firearms actually deals splash damage, right? Because they're literally shooting grenades out of those guns, so they're a really powerful unit. And I can totally understand why you were sort of cherry-picking between them and the Thuggies and the Irish. Yeah, I feel like these Giant Grenadiers definitely take the cake, I think, because they can deal with a wide variety of units, you know. Unlike regular Grenadiers, if you send Hussars after them, they're not defenseless. They actually have a bayonet and will deal multipliers against them. Like, see this right here? They do get a bit of anti-cav. They also got a really good range attack. They got good siege. They got hack armor to make them more immune to the cavalry. So yeah, they're a very powerful unit. Also, we see Royal Mint coming out from the Germany, so their coin income's only going to soar from here. Whereas the opposing Dutch are actually going to Industrial Age right now. It looks like they're playing Turtle at the moment. Yeah, we just seen a fort come up over here, protecting the banks, protecting the church, and the tavern, and the TC. So that's a really well-placed fort over there.
Klar.
So they actually sent out some of the Red Lancers as part of the Royal Decree technology. Interesting. So basically what Red Lancers is, it gives you these things called Red Lancers, which are basically just reskin Stradiots, and gives the Stradiots, or Red Lancers, whatever you want to call them, a Sour-like multiplier good against skirmishers and archers, right? So, yeah, they're slightly more effective than your average Stradiot. And I think it also unlocks them at the tavern as well, so if you actually want to train more of these with your coin, you definitely can. Which reminds me, look at all the coin that this Dutch has. So, they're going to fight fire with fire, it looks like. Yeah. So, they're going to make their own Giant Grenadiers, and it's going to be a Giant Grenadier war, it looks like. Now, unfortunately, you did not watch your units, and now they're going to get snared up a bit by the Uhlans. I don't know if they're going to take out any casualties, but certainly you're going to lose a lot of HP. I feel like this one's going to die. This one's not going to get away from it. This one might not get away from it. Well, they just stop right and go a little bit further and go near the fort. Let them take in some of those cannonball shots. Then maybe you could take out some of their units. See? So, it looks like this Dutch is actually going to ship in some heavy cannons, it looks like. They're also getting placer mines now, so they actually haven't gotten any market technologies at all in terms of coin. Probably because most of their coin eco comes from the banks, right? Usually aren't using the special villager, the merchant, for mining at this point in the game because the banks should be doing all the work for you. That's alright, you know. The more coin, the better. So, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna send in the Dutch States Army at some point? I think, yeah, if you get a barracks, get some Highlanders out, combine that with the giant grenadiers, that might be a decent strategy to go with here, honestly. Because the Highlanders completely rips their way through the Ulans. They're just a really high damage, high HP unit. And combined with the giant grenadiers, you know, you're going to be doing a lot of firepower. You're going to fight your way through a lot of stuff. Ah, they went with the Blue Guard from the Royal Decree. Oh, that's pretty good. So was this... Yeah, that's the Royal Decree technology. And they do have the Nassau Regiment shipment as well. So they certainly can send that later. Basically what Blue Guards are is they're basically just your standard everyday musketeer. But they... Once you send the card, this one here, the Nassau Regiment, these musketeers do have the ability to get field promotions, I believe. So it ends up making them even more effective the more units that they defeat. And it lets you train those musketeers from the fort. So it becomes a more permanent unit. Because as you know with the Dutch, they don't have musketeers in their roster. They don't get that pretty prime unit role that most sits have access to. So for the Dutch, the only way they really get musketeers guaranteed is either through the States Army with the Highlanders, or through the Nassau Regiment through the Blue Guards at the fort. Yeah, different means, but they get to the same conclusion. You know, it's better than the Asian dynasties when you really didn't have any musketeer options at all for the Dutch, right? You only had that one Royal Decree tech Stadtholders, and that was it, really. Now you got Blue Guards, you got Highlanders. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! No, nope, 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 no, 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 nope, nope, no. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? They weren't even in bombard. Oh, it's lagging. Oh, my bad. How bad is it lagging over there? Oh, wow. Lag actually killed the beefy boy. Wow. That is sad. Very sad, and he's probably very mad. In fact, he just lost 2 heavy cans for free because of lag. Yeah. I don't like lag. You know, lag, some people say, oh, lag, it shouldn't make a difference, but for me it does, you know. And you just saw it right there. He was trying to fight with his infantry. The lag literally delayed his response time and his rationale to deal with those Ulans swooping in to kill the cans. And he didn't even have those cannons in bombard mode to counteract them at all. That's how bad the lag was. Very bad. Very, very bad. But luckily for the Dutch, they do have both of their factories operating, and they are going to have them working on heavy cannons to add to their stack. Does Germany have their factories? They don't, actually. They're focusing mostly on mercenary units and economics too. They did get the guild artisans finished, so they're gonna ship in some Jaegers, provide a bit of skirmisher to their mass. They'll definitely help against these Blue Guards and the Giant Grenadiers since they're both a heavy infantry unit, but they won't have much luck against the heavy cannons though. Those artillery units will blast a lot of damage into them. We see Irish Brigadiers too. So that'll be another mercenary option that the Germans will be putting forward. And we see this other Dutch over here quickly trying to put up houses to make more room for more heavy cannons. And they're also going to queue up more of the Giant Grenadiers. How's their Vilpop doing, by the way? Do they have about 28 of the merchants right now? Once they send these 2 cards here, they can actually get it to a build limit of about 60 with the villagers, as well as plus 2 banks. So that might be something you want to pick up on once you get a few moments apiece. because eventually you run out of coin for your mercenaries because they're pretty expensive. So the best way you avoid that is having max banks at all times. Also, we see some riders being shipped too, so that should provide a bit of anti-cap to this army in case Yulons become a problem. They can also be used to target the falconets a bit. See, I don't know what's going to happen here. I see Germany has the high ground, but don't underestimate the Dutch power with the heavy cannons. And I'm sure they'll definitely try coming after you too, so be careful. Yeah, get those things in the bombard boat now. Don't let the lag happen to you. Nobody wants to deal with lag, but yep, looks like he was able to survive lag this time. And now those heavy cans, I hope you can aim them properly. If you can aim them properly, take down a falconet or two. That would definitely hit the spot right now, if you're the Dutch. Because if you can take the falconet... Oh, but then they got culverins mixed in. Now, this makes things a little bit more dicey for you. This makes things a little bit scarier to deal with. Because look at those culverins. They're basically getting free kills here without much resistance. Look at those culverins getting a maximum value there because of their extra range against the heavy cannon. Yeah, absolutely insane. Now we see the War Wagons coming in to soak up the bullets, it looks like, too, to protect the infantry. Yeah, this is looking not good for Dutch right now. How's their coin doing? So they got plenty of coin, and because of that, I feel like they're still in pretty good shape. You know, they definitely still need to get up their other banks, too, when they get some time. Once they get those up, I think they can afford to start expending larger and larger armies here. Because what I would do now is, because I know he's going culverins, I would just throw all my coin into more infantry and cavalry mercenaries and make them a total fool for going culverins, you know. Here's this army of units literally doing almost nothing, and I'm coming in with high HP cavalry and infantry, completely ripping my way through them. That's what you gotta think, you know, with strategy. Okay, I know he's gonna mass up a bunch of culverins in anticipation I'm gonna keep up artillery, so I just stop artillery production. Move on to lots of infantry, right? So that way I'm going to outnumber him in infantry, and his infantry are going to have to retreat. I could also add some cavalry as well and then kill the culverins and the last falconet over there. And that might be the perfect solution. So we do see 4 heavy cannons. And it looks like the Dutch are going to queue up their own culverins from their artillery foundry as well. So they're going to have their own counteraction as well against their cannons. This should be an interesting cannon war here. We also start to see giant grenadiers still being queued up. Now be careful with keeping your cannons stagnant, because what's going to happen is, not that it's happening now, but he is going to try to pursue them with the culverins, and then you're going to be the one taking the first volley from them. And a good chance you might lose 1 or 2 of those heavy cannons, depending on the placement. Because sometimes what happens is a bunch of your artillery is stuck together, like in one shooting position, and with the slight splash that the culverins get, they end up taking down 2 or 3 cannons when they otherwise would have taken down only 1, because of that splash ends up, you know, hitting into other units equally. So what's going on up here? So looks like Dutch were trying to go onto that silver mine right by the cliffside of the plateau. Yeah, that's something you always gotta be wary of on Deccan. You don't know what's coming from above, you know? You could think, oh yeah, everything's fine, nobody's gonna come, I got a wall right here, right? Wrong, they can come up right on this cliffside and hit you where it hurts. Speaking of where it hurts, look at those culverins. Oh, that really hurts. No more culverins for you. Luckily, he only has 1 left. I think, yeah, can you get him with the giant grenadiers? I'm hoping. Yeah, you're going to have to get him. But unfortunately, he's up on a cliffside, so it's not like you can charge him down with your bayonets or something, you know? That's the unfortunate truth. But if he gets too close to the edge of the cliff, I feel like the giant grenadiers can shoot him down. Yeah, some of them are already starting to blast him with their explosive shots. Oh yeah, get that down. Yep, it's down. So no more anti-artillery threat for you, Dutch. So just go in and do some damage. Take. Oh wow! Look, the Falcon Ebb was able to take one down too with its crush damage. Ah, yep. Giant Grenadiers taking out that last piece of artillery of the Germans. So I don't know what's going to happen from here, because it does seem like both players got a competent army going. And because this explorer villager was not able to start construction, we see basically a TC foundation right in the... Yeah, literally Germany's army staying right on top of that town center foundation. Yep, more artillery from the Dutch. So they're going Giant Grenadier with lots and lots of cannons. And you know what? It's Dutch that really does work to your advantage, you know. For me, when I go Dutch, I really like it when I have the little bombard. Because to me, the little bombard really does wonders that even the heavy cannons couldn't. And then I can keep my factories working on resources. So when you get the chance, I would say swap out heavy cannons with little bombards. You know, it's a very powerful unit. Not to be trifled with. And now we see the second bank build limit card sent. So that means one more bank added to the mix, as well as additional merchants being available. And if both of them have been sent out, which I believe so, yep, that means that now they can have up to 60 merchants, as well as, how many banks? 9 banks. And then you can get 11 in the Imperial Age when you send the technology from the capital. Away the coin gathering. Not that it is going to get to Imperial Age, because I feel like somebody's going to win here. Somebody's going to have a really good fight and win this at this point. Well, watch out for this. So what's going on here? Heavy cannons exposed to those sabers of the Uhlans. Giant Grenadiers get to work. Try to defend as best as you can. Yep, he fought off that wave. Yes, this wave. Oh, that's how he was taken out. Look at this sneaky sniper hiding behind the arsenal of that culvert. Very sneaky. You know, and I can imagine when you're the player, it makes targeted with your click a nightmare when he's hiding behind a building, because they'll, you know, you'll accidentally misclick the building and they'll shoot the building instead of the culvert. Very cheeky move on Tushki's part. And as a result, he was able to beat out that army, it looks like. Yeah. So what now? Is Dutch going to go for another wave, it looks like? Well, we can definitely look at the Tushki economy. And it's a lot more diversified than I thought it was going to be. Right? Certainly they're going mercenaries, but they do have a solid food economy, you know? The thing with Dutch is sometimes you get so caught up in coin with your banks that you don't have a lot of food or wood. But for Germany, thanks to their, they didn't even send the Germantown farmers yet, or the guild arsons. So eventually when they get to real late game, they can start adding settler wagons with that. They're going to have a really, really boomed out economy, is Germany. And they'll be able to really train anything, not just mercenaries. They'll be able to make cannons, they'll be able to make war wagons, which we see right now. They'll be able to make skirmishers. They're going to have bigger variety of stuff to overpower the Dutch with. Whereas Dutch are going to be super coin dependent on things like mercenaries and artillery. To the point that the enemy is going to be able to poke holes at that and create some really effective food unit counters to that stuff. Oh wow, look at those heavy cannons going down for free there. I don't feel like it's him that's missing it. He might be, but he complained before about the lag, so my guess is the lag basically made it so he walked right into that. Oh, locomotive. Oh, that's really bad. That means that Tushki's going to have trains delivering them resources on the trade route now. That means faster delivery times and more resources. Yeah. I feel like this Germany is way out of control at this point with this resource count. And you're going to have a real swell time trying to deal with that. I mean, look at this right now. There's nothing you can do. You can spread your heavy cans behind your buildings. But then, as we've seen before, basically the heavy cans are doing nothing because they're getting sniped by the culverins. Oh wow. I was gonna say, I saw a ninja in that queue there. Was Tushki gonna go with ninjas? Well, he is going for the Bhakti elephant natives. That's pretty cool. But he's also going for mortars. Yeah, he's got more queued up. Now that's interesting because he does have. Wait a minute, he does have ninjas. He does have ninjas. 10 ninjas. These things, when you play arena, these ninjas, these are really these units are really overlooked. I'll say it that way, because ninjas in like a situation when you have a mix of mercenaries and regular units, ninjas can turn it into a bleeding nightmare for you. See, these ninjas, they are trained assassins and have 10x multipliers against mercenaries. So, when it comes to things like the Giant Grenadier, ninjas will rip their way through them. Oh, and then we see a South Africa revolt from the Dutch. Wow, look at all these Trek wagons. All these Trek wagons. This is the South Africa revolt, folks. Dutch definitely taking this seriously. They're going for the... What are they going to go for next, honestly? 2 banks. They could add 2 banks in. They could add Diamond Rush. Naples, a capital, and most of its upgrades for lower. Wagon Warfare fully replaces your light cavalry units in the stable with Imperial War Wagons. That could be pretty interesting, and that would be, you know, going toe-to-toe with the German roster. So, what's going to happen exactly? So, I see a lot of culverins here. It's almost unapproachable to go after them with cannons, because the culverins just snipe them instantly. You got this army of elephants in the room coming after you. You got war wagons. You got ninjas that can snipe your mercenaries instantly. What is the solution? So yeah, they're gonna go for the wagon warfare to get war wagons. They're probably gonna, yep, they got a stable there. Are they gonna go for it right away or what? And I'm assuming if they get a lot of pressure, they're going to throw the villagers into these Trek wagons. Pretty helpful, I would say. Alright, so now we see the wagon warfare coming out. And then they're going to have additional banks. Oh, petards! Yeah, petards! The Kaiskatushki signature. Throw petards in the solution. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Alright, so now we got war wagons being queued up at this stable. If we can get another stable down, we'll see additional war wagons. Also, 2 additional banks add to the build limit. Yeah, these aren't just wagons, they actually get added to the build limit too. So you can have up to 11 banks. Sort of to compensate for your loss of opportunity to get more in the Imperial Age. South Africa in general is a really strong economic revolt in general. Oh wow, so now we got 3 queues of Imperial War Wagons. Oh, ninjas. Go ninja, go ninja, go.
Hello?
So what do these have tag-wise? So these are not mercenaries, but these giant grenadiers are. Look at the damage they do to mercenary units. Unfortunately, they were discovered because they got too close over here to the hero in the town center, but if they were able to swoop in on those giant grenadiers and get mixed up with them, they could have totally mangled them and completely ripped them apart. And keep in mind, ninjas, they also have multipliers against native warriors too. Any spy unit like a spy or a ninja, they have multipliers against native warriors. I don't think it's directly shown to the player, but they do have multipliers against those units. At least I believe they do. I know in Wars of Liberty and the Asian dynasties, they do have multipliers against native warriors. Which, luckily for the Tushki, he's in control of the native warriors, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But let's say Red decided to go with ninjas. They would actually, if this was Tad or Wars of Liberty, would be able to cut their way through these elephants, no problem, actually. probably even better than the halberdier would or a doppel would. So look at this massive War Wagons here with Imperial stats. Totally unreal, look at this. And here comes the giant Grenadiers, here comes the Trek Wagons. So what are you going to do with the Trek Wagons? Are you going to like meat shield your way in here with them? Yeah, look at that, they're just throwing the wagons in there with all their HP. Completely... Oh wow, look at those wagons trying to shield them. Yeah. I mean, they're doing it pretty well, I think. I feel like they're definitely helping against the natives here, the Tiger Claws and the Ninjas. But unfortunately, the Ninjas, as they cut their way through the War Wagons, are going to find their way to Giant Grenadiers, taking them out in 2 strikes with their katanas. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And then you got the Quizzlebash from the Sufi settlement. Yeah, look at these, look at this pressure here. Absolutely destructive. Absolutely destructive. Yep, War Wagon's just not counted here, folks. And technically has the better stats, too. I mean, look at, what, 48 damage versus... Yeah, these are only veteran level War Wagons, while these ones are 2 upgrade levels above them. And they're still struggling. Yeah. It's all because of those Jaegers, too, that Jaeger shipment that Tushki sent. Having that set of mercenary skirmishers in the back constantly is basically what's come through these War Wagons, no problem. If you didn't have those Jaegers, I feel like, you know, they would have an easier time assaulting overall. Record game playback finished. GG. That was a cool game, you know, seeing the South Africa revolt there at the end with the War Wagons. It definitely changed things up a bit. Yeah, certainly. Yep, and yep, let's look at Germany. What did they send in the end? So, yeah, they sent pretty much a lot of their cards, yeah. Oh, no, that's because of the population. Alright. I didn't look too much at their deck to see what they're actually sending. Let's look at the post-game, though. Germany. Way more resources. Yeah, notice how I mentioned before how those, like, settler wagons and villagers were getting a lot of food. This basically gave Germany more options, right? They were able to switch into other things than mercenaries. So, when the mercenaries weren't the option for them, they could switch back to their regular units and combine them together. In terms of military, yep. Looks like Tushki did a lot better, mainly because he was doing good work with his culverins to deal with the heavy cannons. And yes, if you're lagging, I would assume longer... Well, I wouldn't assume, it is true. When you are lagging, units with longer range tend to do better, right? Units with less range, in particular hand units, tend to do horrible in lag. So when you know a game's going to be laggy, just stock up on lots of long-range units, you know. Things like snipers, longbowmen, culverins, mortars. They're gonna have a field day in a laggy environment. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed that game. I got a lot more exciting games like this coming to you too, casted and played. So see you in the next one, you know. I got lots and lots of stuff planned for you. Signing off now.